A very good morning, dear students. Welcome back to this session of computer science. In this session, I am going to continue the left out part of chapter 2, input, output, and memory devices. Okay, so in the past three sessions, I discussed on all these concepts, that is, input devices. In input devices, I discussed on keyboard and its types, and mouse and its types, and third input device is joystick, and OMR, OCR, and MICR. These were the input devices which we discussed in the earlier sessions. And then output devices such as monitor, printers and their types, plotters, and speakers. So these were the devices of input and output with respect to computer environment we discussed. Is it right? And then what else we discussed? We discussed a memory. Okay. In that there were two memories. One is primary memory, another one is secondary memory. Is it right? In primary memory, there are of these types. That is ROM and RAM. Is it right? So ROM means read only memory. RAM means random access memory. Is it right? So in the last class, I discussed all about ROM. Okay. So ROM means read only memory. That is, whatever the content is there, just we can able to read. But we are not having permission for edit, delete. That is, nothing can be done for that thing. Is called as ROM. So in that ROM, there were these types. That is, four types. What are that? PROM, EPROM, EEPROM, and flash memory. Okay. So what is it? Let me recall all those things in a brief manner. PROM means programmable ROM. That is, the contents on the ROM can be erased, can be edited with the help of PROM, programmable persons. Okay. So that is P. Okay. Next is the EPROM. EPROM means erasable PROM. That is, with the help of UV rays, ultraviolet rays, the things on the ROM can be edited, can be programmed. Okay. So that is the EPROM. How the things goes here in EPROM means the contents can be erased with the help of UV rays or UV light. So this is a key point you have to remember for EPROM. Okay. So next is EEPROM. EEPROM means electrically erasable. Okay. So electrically erasable in the sense, here the ROM is exposed to the electric charge. What it is exposed to? It is exposed to the electric charges. So only it is called as electrically erasable ROM. Okay. So this is a recently developed type of ROM where the contents can be erased with the help of by exposing to the electric charges. Okay. So next is flash memory. Flash memory in the sense all the things on the ROM can be erased, can be refreshed or rebooted, we can say. All the things can be erased in the flash memory. That is how it is done. There we change this BIOS settings itself. Okay. So this is a flash memory. So the question goes like this: what is a ROM, and tell what are the different types of ROM. So different types of ROM are PROM, EPROM, EEPROM, and flash memory. Okay, students. So let me even explain in more understandable manner from today onwards. Even I'll explain in Kannada also. Okay. So next we'll move on to the next type of primary memory, that is RAM. So RAM, whenever we buy any new mobile, we see what is its capacity, that is what is its RAM. Next, whenever we buy any computer, we see this RAM. So RAM is very, very, very important when it comes to processing thing. Okay, so if the RAM is speed is more, then the accessibility, everything related to processing is more. Processing speed is more. For example, if a user buys 2 GB RAM phone, then the speed will be limited. If a user buys 2 GB RAM of phone, the speed will be less. But if the user buys 8 GB RAM, then of course the speed is more. Is it right? In the systems, we usually use 4 GB or 2 GB this thing RAM in their systems. Okay, so usually in schools and colleges and all, they are going to use 2 GB RAM slots, whereas in company sectors they are going to use 4 GB RAM slots. Okay, RAM cards. Okay, so it depends on the work performance. The limited work is there, then they can go for 2 GB RAM. If the more performance, more work is there, then the user can go with a 4 GB RAM. Okay, so this much I talked about RAM. So then we'll see what is this RAM. Okay, so RAM is called as main memory, where the programs gets stored temporarily. So there is no permanent storage here. Always the memory stored in RAM is temporary. Okay, so data and the instructions required for CPU is stored in the RAM before actual processing. Okay, so the data, it has to be processed in this CPU, will be stored in this RAM before it actually starts the processing. Okay, see, for example, see here there is a monitor, and here there is a keyboard, and here there is a CPU. So this is what? This is CPU, this is monitor, this is keyboard. So inside this CPU there is a RAM slot, that is on the motherboard there is a RAM slot. Okay. Okay, for this instructions has to be passed for processing. Where is the processing is done? Always the processing is done in CPU. Okay, students. So here the processing has to be done in the sense, on this RAM the data is stored before actually started with the processing. Okay, so this thing will happen with respect to RAM. Okay, so next is RAM is volatile memory, that is, it is temporary memory. What it is? It is a temporary memory, that is, when the switch off is done, then the computer, whatever it is stored in that, it will be getting erased. Okay, so only it is called as volatile memory, means it is temporary memory. In this, it cannot store for a longer time. After processing is done, then it releases its memory. Okay, so this is a main memory, which is also called as high speed memory. Okay, so all the instructions before also it stores, before processing also it stores, after processing also it stores, and it sends to the CPU before storing. Actually it stores in registers after storage. Okay, so this is a RAM, so you have to know. So in RAM, just a second, in RAM is called as main memory, where the program gets stored temporarily. Okay, and then RAM instruction, the data and instructions required for CPU has to be stored in RAM before actual processing starts. Okay, so next RAM is called as volatile memory, that is, it cannot store for a longer time. If there is a power fluctuations, then the data gets erased. Whatever the data is stored in the RAM, it will be erased. Okay, students, I hope you all are understanding. Next, each location in a memory has a unique number called as its memory address. Okay, so memory address in the sense each location in that memory has one unique number in the sense separate number which is not being shared for other locations. Okay, and then operations on this memory are called as reads and writes. Okay, so this you have to know what is mean by read operation, what is mean by write operation. Okay, so read instruction transfers information from memory to other devices, so that is read. So read in the sense we are just reading the thing, that is from memory in the sense ROM or hard disk. From there hard disk in the tagondu other devices like pen drive or any devices which is connected, for that the instruction is stored. So that is read instruction. Write instruction in the sense the information from other devices to the memory. So whatever the information like pen drive, DVD, CD, from that devices the information is transferred to the memory. Okay, students, a memory performs both reads and writes, if often called as read and write memory. So this RAM is often called as read and write memory because it is doing both. Whereas the ROM what was doing? It does only read, but write is not done. So we cannot able to write, that is we cannot able to edit the contents on the ROM. So that is the main point, main default in ROM. But then also it is prominent object in this computer environment. Okay, so RAM has memory address, that is each memory location given with a specific number, that is called as memory address. It performs read and write operations. Read operation transfers the information from memory to the other devices, whereas write operation performs from information from other devices to the memory. Okay, so this is about the thing. So next RAM, next we'll see on EDO RAM. EDO RAM in the sense extended data output RAM. So EDO RAM in the sense extended data output RAM. Okay, so next what it is we'll see. It is also type of RAM wherein it improves the speed of memory faster. Okay, that is itself it is called as extended RAM, extended data RAM. Okay, so here you can see here where there is only 4 slots, that is 4 chips. An additional chip is introduced, so that is called as extended data output RAM. Okay, so here it is more memory, it gives more memory and it is faster. Okay, so it doesn't provide any delay in the processing of output, but it gives more improvement to read and write, so that it processes the information which is there in the microprocessors such as Intel Pentium. In these Intel Pentium processors, microprocessors, this EDO ROM is used. EDO RAM, sorry. Okay, so this is the thing with respect to EDO RAM. So this is just a high speed memory RAM. You have to remember high speed memory RAM. E means extended RAM, extended data output RAM. Okay, students. So next, SRAM. So this is static RAM. Okay. So what it is? Static RAM. So it is a type of RAM in which information is stored as long as the power is on. Okay. What the RAM is? RAM is, normal RAM is, it will store information until and unless there is no power fluctuations. Is it right? The same way this SRAM also does. They doesn't need any refreshing circuit. So this refreshing has to be done in DRAM. So what it is, we'll see in next slide. So this refreshing circuit is not required in SRAM. Okay. They have high speed than DRAM. So SRAM has high speed, more speed than DRAM, because DRAM, what it has to be refreshed then and then. Now and then it has to be refreshed. Okay, so that is not there with respect to SRAM. Okay, so next is DRAM. So DRAM in the sense, so this DRAM has, so next is DRAM. So this DRAM is the most common type of memory used nowadays. So this is a memory we are going to use regularly from these days. Okay, so it loses its stored information in very short time. So that is few milliseconds it will loses its memory. So therefore it has to be refreshed. So again and again it has to be refreshed, so that the memory, the information which is stored in DRAM will be back to the point. Okay, so this DRAM has to be refreshed periodically. It stores the information for a very minute seconds, that is it will store when few milliseconds, though even the power is on. So this doesn't matter that there is no power, means it doesn't store, but it will release the information. Here it means that it loses its instructions when in a short time. Okay, so this you have to keep it in your mind. Okay, so again I'll repeat. See, so this is a DRAM. Nowadays it is more used. Okay, so it loses its information in a very short time, and that is in few milliseconds it will loses its information. DRAM have to be refreshed periodically. Okay, next, differences between static RAM and dynamic RAM. So static RAM, it is what? It is costlier. Okay, but dynamic RAM is cost effective. That is, so only it is nowadays used. And then static RAM uses more power, whereas dynamic RAM uses less power. It uses transistor, but DRAM uses capacitors. In static RAM, no need of refreshment of the screen, whereas here it needs to be refreshed. More speed than DRAM, less speed when compared to SRAM. Okay, so these are the differences. You have to keep it in your mind. This is one of the important question. The question goes like this: write the differences between static RAM and dynamic RAM. So okay, so static RAM is costly, whereas dynamic RAM is less cost. SRAM consumes more power, whereas this RAM consumes less power. And then SRAM uses transistors, DRAM uses capacitors, and SRAM has doesn't needs any refreshment, but refreshing, here DRAM needs refreshing, and SRAM speed is more when compared to DRAM. This DRAM has less speed. Okay, so this is an important question you have to remember. So then synchronous dynamic RAM. Okay, so this is another kind of RAM where it is used. So this is also called as SRAM. Here, see, there is a special clock. So synchronous itself, you have to know this wave. Okay, so here there is the information transfers is synchronized with the system clock. See, there is a clock in all the computer environment. The speed is measured with respect to megahertz. Is it right? So here, whenever the data is transferred with respect to time, so that is mentioned in synchronous RAM. So always the data transfer is synchronized with the system clock. Okay. So this is SRAM. So SRAM, in the sense, it is a special type of RAM wherein the transfer of data which is synchronized with the system clock. That is, whenever the data is transferred, the system clock is noting down. Okay, along with the system clock, the data is transferred. So that is synchronized RAM. Next, we will see on DDR SDRAM. So that is double data SDRAM. So here SRAM, in the sense itself, it is synchronized RAM. Is it right? But DDR SDRAM, in the sense, it is a very fast memory based on same architecture of SDRAM, but it uses this clock signal differently to transfer the twice the data in the same amount of time. Okay, so here it transfers twice. Okay, but SRAM was transferring in one time with respect to time. Is it right? But here the data is the same architecture is used in DDR SDR RAM, but it transfers at double time. So only it is called as double data rate. Means it transfers the data or instruction 2 times, that is double time than the SRAM. With respect to time, it transfers the data 2 times. Okay. So this is the thing. So next we'll move on to the different types of SDR, SDRAM. Okay. So there are, it transfers the data at 400 megahertz. Next, DDR2 SDRAM transfers at 800 megahertz. DDR3 SDRAM transfers at 1600 megahertz. Okay, so next we'll see the differences between RAM and. So RAM means read and write memory. Okay, so RAM means read and write memory. ROM means read only memory. Okay, next RAM means volatile memory. So ROM means, it should come here, ROM means non-volatile memory, that is temporary memory. Whenever there is a power fluctuation, then also it doesn't, the data doesn't get erased. But in RAM, the data gets erased. Next, RAM is accessible to the user, but ROM is not accessible to the user. Then RAM is external memory chips on the motherboard, but RAM is inbuilt with the motherboard. Okay, so this you have to remember. Okay, so this is a main question, important question for 3 marks. So tell the difference, write the differences between RAM and ROM. So RAM is volatile memory, ROM is non-volatile memory. RAM is read and write memory, whereas ROM is read only memory. So RAM, we can access, the user has access for RAM, but ROM is not accessible for user. So RAM is external memory chips, that is on the motherboard you can actually place the RAM on the RAM slots, but for ROM it is inbuilt with the motherboard. Okay students, I hope you all are understanding. Secondary memory. Until now we discussed on primary memory. So in primary memory there are ROM and then RAM. Okay, so in ROM there are 4 types. What are that 4 types? PROM, EPROM, EEPROM and flash memory. Okay, so those were the 4 types. In RAM there are SRAM and DRAM, and then SDRAM was there, and DDR SDRAM was there. So this you have to remember, and then differences between ROM and RAM you have to remember. Okay, so next thing is secondary memory. So in storage part, So the prominent role is played by this secondary memory. So the main memory can store small amount of data and it's temporary. Is it right? The always the main memory stores small amount, that is 4 GB or 2 GB or something like that, 8 GB or 16 GB, that's it. Whereas the secondary memory can store large amount of data, that is 100 GB of data can also be stored. 1 TB of data can be stored. TB means terabytes, okay. So this amount of storage can be done and it is very secured. We can store the data in secure manner and it is permanent and the data is permanent. We can store the data permanently. There is no need of, whenever there is no power fluctuations, is it right, at that time also the data is stored permanently. Okay, so next, the secondary storage devices are called as backup storage. That is, whenever the data is lost by accidentally, then also it can be taken back, that is, it can be backupped. Okay, so this is called as non-volatile memory. As I told, the data is permanent, therefore it is called as non-volatile memory. So examples are such as hard disk, magnetic tape, floppy disk, and then CD-ROM. Okay, so these were the secondary storage examples. So secondary storage examples means it can store the data permanently, that is, it is non-volatile, and secondary storage data can be stored at a vast extent, that is, it can be stored for a larger amount of GBs. Okay, so this devices are called as backup storage. Okay, so next we'll see on one example of secondary storage device. So that is magnetic tape. Okay, so this is a magnetic tape. So here you can see there is a round shape. So this what it is. So magnetic tape is thin circular plastic plates on which the magnetic material is coated. So here see, this is a circular material. So this is a circular material. On this the magnetic material is coated. Okay. See, the magnetic discs come in various sizes and materials. They use the properties of magnetism to store the data on the magnetic surface. So what it uses? It uses the materials of magnetism so that it will store the data. So next thing is a disc pack contains normally mounted on a central shaft. So here this is a central shaft, on this disc mount is placed. Okay, so this central shaft revolutions 720 rpm, revolution per minute. So it rotates 720 times per minute. Okay, so that the data will be captured. Okay, so in this disc plate, information is stored on the both the surfaces, that is, in this side also it is stored, back side of that also it is stored. It is divided into number of circles, concentric circles, so that is called as tracks. So this you have to remember for 1 mark question. What are tracks on hard disk? That is magnetic tape. That means the surface which is there on the magnetic material is divided into invisible concentric circles. So that is called as tracks. This you can observe even in CDs. Whenever you buy any CDs, on that CDs there will be a concentric circles. So that is called as tracks. So tracks are further divided into sections, various sections called as sectors. So tracks and sectors will be there in magnetic tape. To store the information, it is necessary for us to identify the track and sectors where it has to be stored. Okay. The information has to be stored so that you have to identify the tracks and sectors. The stored information can be read number of times. So it can be stored many times. It can be read even for storage also it can be done for many times. So this is about magnetic tape. So next there are two things with respect to magnetic disk or tapes. The one is hard disk and floppy disk. So this we will discuss in next classes. If you are having any questions, please do attend Zoom meeting and write all the notes and try to understand all the concepts. Thank you.